What's the strangest thing you can think of that you've ever seen somebody disclose on a disclosure? Like whether the house was haunted. I mean, have you ever seen something like that?
You know, if I thought about it, I'd probably think of something. I actually showed a house probably 4 months ago. We walked into a vacant house with some clients, and there was a 5-foot snake laying there, just alive, looking at us, And
I know, that's scary.
It was so naturally I went and picked it up and threw it out in the front yard. They did not buy the house.
Welcome to another episode of East Texas Unfiltered. I'm your host, J. Chad Parker. Today, we're going to talk local real estate market. We're going to do so with a man who's been here most of his life, if not all of his life. His family's been involved in the real estate industry, his grandfather, his father, his mother today. Today, we're going to give you the real estate report. Taylor Fitzgerald, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited about it.
You were born and raised in Tyler. Is that right?
Right, born and raised.
You went to high school at what was Robert E. Lee.
Red Raiders.
And then you went on to college where?
Alabama, University of Alabama.
When you went to Alabama, did you study anything related to real estate, or is that something that just came about later on?
Not at all. I went there, did a general business degree, obviously had some fun. We had a decent football team then, but nothing like they've got now. But no, I didn't even think I was going to do real estate until years later.
Well, because my dad was a lawyer, and I and my brother both became lawyers. Your grandfather and your dad and your mom, as I understand it, are all in real estate.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that causes people to not want to be in it, or some people simply follow the footsteps. I mean, at first, were you of the mind that you didn't want to be in it?
I mean, I guess in the back of my mind, I always knew eventually I would do real estate. When I first graduated, I was trying to get a job in real estate in Birmingham, Alabama. Of course, that was during the 2008, 2009 crash. So there was not many paid opportunities. There was a lot of, back then, before then, you'd go to a big company and you were able to get a draw, so they'd give you, $30,000 a year or something that every time you made a transaction, you'd draw off of. But when I was looking, they weren't doing that at all. It was just eat what you kill.
Okay. So, that means you'd have to get a listing, or they would give you a listing.
You have to go get it then.
Right. I mean,
for most companies,
All right. So it didn't work out. And how long after graduating did you decide to come back to Tyler?
So I worked for Wachovia Bank in Irondale, Alabama for 6 months, and they gave me a huge raise of like $100 a year after 6 months. So that combined with, our store almost getting robbed was the end of my banking days. And I told my girlfriend at the time, let's move back to Texas. We'll go to Fort Worth or Austin or Dallas or wherever. So we packed up and moved over here. And once I was back in Tyler, I realized that I probably wasn't ever going to leave Tyler again, which, she was not real excited about.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler is, in the past, it's been an acquired taste for some people, right?
For
sure. It's close-knit. Some people say cliquish.
Hard to break into sometimes.
And relationships matter.
100%, yeah.
As far as the real estate market in Tyler and surrounding area, those relationships, they're helpful, aren't they?
Oh, you've got to have them. I mean, your relationship with other realtors, your relationship with just people in the community, that goes a long way.
When you come back and you finally get back to Tyler, you don't start off in real estate, though, do you?
No. So I was getting my real estate license, and I always say I got my book training from the courses you take, but then I got Ben's training because I was up there doing my classes in Ben's office every day. And so I'd spend a few hours, doing my real estate courses, and I'd spend the rest of the day listening to him talk and really learn a lot from him. And, you always hear location, location, location. And one of the things he said was relationships, relationships, relationships. So,
and Ben, for the audience who does not know, would be Ben Fitzgerald, and that would be your granddad.
That's my granddad. Started in 1958. He was a hat salesman at Bell's Department Store in Beaumont, Texas. And then his uncle was in real estate big down there, and he got Ben into real estate. So he finally moved back here, and the rest was history.
What brought Ben back to Tyler? I mean,
he's from here. And other than just maybe wanting to raise his family here, I think that was probably why. He was in Beaumont for a while, but I don't remember why exactly they moved back to Tyler. Besides, just it was home.
But I mean, where did Ben grow up? Did he grow up in Tyler?
In Chandler.
In Chandler, okay. Which is right outside of Tyler.
It's a bedroom community of Tyler. It's a little old town, but it's starting to pop now. It's grown. They've got a McDonald's now and a Starbucks,
and it's affordable in relation to some of the same size houses in the city of Tyler.
Sure. I mean, if you're wanting to buy, a house in the heart of Tyler, it's going to be definitely more expensive than some of these bedroom communities. And plus, the taxes out there sometimes aren't as bad either.
Well, Ben Fitzgerald Realty, I mean, I remember as a kid, there was a large building with a huge sign right there where the car wash exists. That was next to the London shop then.
That's right. It was a unique building, and I'm going to blank on the guy who designed it. He's a famous architect. I'll get there, but he had that big rotating sign.
Yeah, it was. It seemed like it was as big or bigger than the Burkefield Realty sign.
It was very similar. Yeah, very similar.
Right. And back then, as a kid, I don't remember there being, a ton of realtors. I mean, I remember like Baker Lucas Realty, Ben Fitzgerald Realty when I was a kid, and
Glover Tunnel. Another big name.
Right. And lots changed over the years. I mean, Baker Lucas, he died in the circle over in Henderson. And I don't know after what happened to Steve and the trial, and I don't even know if that doesn't exist anymore, does it?
I don't believe so.
Because, that's old Tyler Realty right there.
Right. And Ben had trouble, I think, kind of breaking into the real estate. They used to have these bus tours that the agents would go every morning, not every morning, but once a month or something. They'd get on, they'd go look at different properties, and I think it took him a while to kind of break into the clique, I guess.
He was an outsider initially.
Right.
And he was from Chandler, not Tyler to begin with.
Right.
But eventually he did break in, and it seems like he was successful for a long time, I guess up and until maybe in the 80s.
I'd say even longer than that. I mean, he was working his last day on this on Earth, even though he probably shouldn't have been at that point. He was 94, but
I'm not sure he gave me the right info on the property. The seller's disclosure is not that little suspect.
Yeah, the rules changed a lot, and he didn't necessarily change with the rules.
Same thing happened with my dad and the law.
Yeah, and Ben always said, there's man-made laws and there's the Ten Commandments. I follow the Ten Commandments.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole industry, the forms involved nowadays versus when Ben was, in the 80s as a, big realtor they've been added.
We've got a contract in our office framed, and it's a 1-page, 3-paragraph contract, sales price, closing date, and there's not much more than that, and then all these attorneys get involved.
Yeah. I acknowledge that, the forms are an outsource of a case that happened to become of a disagreement. And then Denver, the title company, each and every time adds another form to have you sign off that you understand in case this happens, that's not applicable.
Right. Yeah. It changes every year. We get new forms.
And back in the old days, there weren't inspections.
That's probably correct. I don't even know.
I don't remember there being a job of inspectors per se, that would, I know some of the guys like Robin Rice, some of the older guys who have passed on were some of the first inspectors, but I don't know if that's because houses were just built and in better shape. People were more honest about what they were selling their neighbor.
Probably some of both, and then probably eventually some lawsuits because, somebody didn't honestly disclose an issue they knew about.
Disclosures, though, that's most people know that form, right?
Oh, yeah.
When they want to buy or when you're representing them as the seller, they have to fill one out.
You have to,
right? It's required by law,
right?
What's the strangest thing you can think of that you've ever seen somebody disclose on a disclosure? Like whether the house was haunted or there were snakes that came up from the. Have you ever seen something like that?
If I thought about it, I'd probably think of something. I actually showed a house probably 4 months ago. We walked into a vacant house with some clients, and there was a 5-foot snake laying there, just alive looking at us, and
I know that's scary.
it was so naturally I went and picked it up and threw it out in the front yard.
But I mean,
they did not buy the house.
I remember one of the houses I had backed up to a big creek, and every time it rained, I swear there'd be 2 or 3 snakes in the backyard, man. I mean, now I didn't include that on the disclosure when I sold the house, but I was thinking about it the whole time. Like, man, I can't wait to get out of here.
No, generally sellers are pretty honest on their disclosures. You're looking for the main things: foundation, water, flood, any kind of
HVAC. What kind of shape is your roof in?
Right. Right. Or the age of it is the common question.
Well, and you bring up a good point. What I've noticed, and you probably know this better than anybody, the way that the insurance company is interacting with the homeowner today about their roof is much different than it used to be.
Oh, big time.
Right? I mean, in the old days, you're like, hey, they never said anything. Your homeowner's insurance just kept renewing, right? Nowadays, they come to you and say what?
I mean, we've seen all different kinds of stuff, but I mean, if a roof is over 7 years old, they're going to want to get an inspection. They, even though it's currently insured by that homeowner, that same insurance company may not insure it for the new homeowner based on its age.
Just because they can, force them to get a new one?
The homeowner...
The insurance company says, hey, we're not going to take the new homeowner.
We're not going to insure this property unless you get a new roof on it.
Right. I mean, I guess that's their way to try to continually have the most updated roofs where they don't have to
Which
pay
I get it to some, State Farm has insured this property for 25 years. And Allstate's about to come in here and insure it with an old roof. I mean, I get their standpoint, but it's definitely gotten more difficult with roofs.
But I mean, isn't there some built-in depreciation that they get for the age of the roof? It's not like they have to pay a brand new roof for a 25-year.
Well, I think it depends on your policy. Some of them you've got, actual cash value or total replacement.
Yeah. That's confusing. I mean, we should have a show with an insurance agent.
We probably should. Right? Put them in the hot seat
to supplement, the insurance that you really want to have for your home, right? I mean, and realtors they're not asked for that advice, and they don't give that advice.
Right. We can, recommend different insurance companies, but
yeah, I mean, it's just, you kind of got a working knowledge of just general concept that you can make sure people are aware of.
Right.
Now, as far as the local real estate market here in Tyler and the surrounding area, are you involved in any organizations or groups or things that, help promote that industry here in Tyler?
Yeah, so we've got the Greater Tyler Association of Realtors. I'm actually on the board of directors. This is my second year on it. And, they're just kind of a governing body for our local for the local association, which means we're involved with the Texas Realtors and the National Association of Realtors. So I'm on the board, which means, we just kind of help govern the policy, bylaws, strategic planning, that kind of stuff. But it's a great organization. We've had a lot of great leadership there. And, really, somebody was telling me the other day who used to be in it, they travel around to all these different conferences. And, our association is really tight-knit. We all get along. Goes back to relationships. If you're working a deal with another agent that y'all don't get along, I mean, it's going to be hard to get that deal done.
Right.
So it's.
I mean, that affects the people trying to get the home.
100%. Yeah, 100%. So it's we're very unique in that we have a very tight-knit association, and everybody gets along for the most part.
And I could see where the more and more realtors that enter the marketplace, the more competitive it could get amongst realtors.
Sure.
Which would maybe strain those relationships, right? I mean, at some point.
Yeah, and you've got the people who, and of course, there's always going to be new people getting in, and we're all for that, but the people who jump in and jump out, they're not in it for the long haul. Anybody who's done it for a while knows that we're looking at the big picture. We're not going to ruin a deal over a relationship or vice versa,
So what about the Tyler Historic Society? I know you have some connection with that organization.
Yeah, so I'm on that board as well. I'm actually the president this year. They couldn't find anybody better to ask.
I bet that's a thankless job if I had to guess.
You would think.
Right, I mean, people, these are people that are dedicated to the preservation of some of the older homes. Is that what this organization?
Well, they're promoting the preservation of not just homes, but any kind of structure or site. So it's a great organization. They've done a lot of great things. I think it was started maybe in 1970, their big deal they do every year is the home tour, where they'll get 4 or 5 different homeowners
Right.
of an historic home to allow the public to come view their home.
And they stop by kind of like a parade of homes, except for
Right.
these are older, usually in the Azalea district.
Well, yeah, I mean, really, that's one of the things that Historic Tyler has done is they've been the reason a lot of these historic areas in Tyler have gotten their historic designation. They have either helped them apply for grants or whatever it may be to get the Texas historical, whatever it's called.
Is that the plaque?
That's a plaque, or like even on some of the streets, like the Charnwood district,
right.
Azalea, Pollard area just got its historic designation, or it's almost there.
Well, the plaque, you say, do you get money in the form of a grant in order to get that plaque and preserve the home, or is it just you're trying to get...
There's different plaques. There's a national, registration, and there's a local one. And honestly, I don't know a ton about that.
What about the local one, though? Does it, I guess, require you to do certain things or not do certain things with your home once you have it?
Yeah. So like, you have to, if you're going to do a remodel, you can't just go, it's mostly on the outside, the exterior. You can't, if they've got some kind of windows from the 50s, they don't want you to put in some newer, modern look. You kind of have to keep it, the outside looking the same.
And that's if the home you're attempting to buy has that plaque?
Right.
I mean, let's say to someone who's listening and they don't live in Tyler, they're looking in, they think that the Azalea district reminds them of the M Streets in Dallas or a very charming period of time in their life somewhere else, and they want to come in there. If they buy a house, can they remodel it the way they want to?
Yeah, sure. I mean, again, the exterior is the main part. Inside, they can do whatever they want for the most part, but the exterior, they would need, when you're going to get permits, you would, they'd have to get approved, like if there's
even if there's no historical plaque connected.
If there's no plaque, you don't have to worry about it.
Okay. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
For the person like me who
wants something new,
yeah. Right. Or wants to make something newer looking,
right.
And more efficient maybe, and that type of thing. And maybe I just don't have the appreciation that some people do. And I understand that's a difference of opinion. But if someone's like me and they wanted to buy a house in the Azalea district, I mean, they could pretty much, put brand new windows in. They could do all those things.
Yeah.
Unless it had a historical plaque of some kind.
Right. And then you just have to get a blessing.
Approval, right. You've got to kind of go find windows that look like the old ones.
Right.
Because
which people do all the time.
There's code, right? You have to have efficiency standards in order to remodel those homes, I would think. You can't put an old 1950 pane window back in there, can you?
No. I mean, I wouldn't think so.
I don't think you can do that. Well, the real estate market in Tyler, it was hot, man, at COVID and thereafter, wasn't it?
It was.
I mean, I think about properties that, and full disclosure, I mean, you have helped me with rental in Tyler. You have helped me with residential. You have helped me with commercial, just so people know that you have represented me in those 3 capacities.
Yeah.
This is not a paid show or paid ad, but full disclosure. The rental market seems to be the most frustrating to people who aren't from here or are looking to rent something. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, I mean, it's unique. I mean, there's not a ton of good rentals out there. I mean, that's why you bought some. You learned that. You're like, hey, let's have some good rentals. And people will pay for a good rental,
and they have.
And there seems to be, and I don't know, I don't have the data on it, but there seems to be a big gap between
1,300 and 2,200.
Yeah, or even 2,500. I mean, there's nothing in between them. Somebody wants to spend $1,600 rent, like there's a big difference in that and the $2,400 one as far as the quality of the house.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, and people are stuck if they can't get the down payment and the interest rates are high, and so they're forced into the rental.
Right.
And there's really not much other than something pretty expensive if it's going to be nice.
And then you're like, man, I'm spending $2,500 a month renting when I could buy something. But
right.
It's also the reason the market slowed down a little bit is, for that same house to buy, their payment is more than what the rent would be. So that's why they're staying with the rent.
Yeah, and the rental market, I don't know where it goes in Tyler. Like where does the other rentals come from? does someone build an apartment complex? Does someone build condominiums? I mean, what's left?
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously happening, and people, but you think about the people who are going for a house. They usually have kids, maybe some pets. They want a yard.
Right. They don't want an apartment.
They don't want to be in an apartment. I've lived in an apartment. It was great for that stage of my life, but there was another stage where I needed a yard. So I don't know where the rental market's going to go. Honestly, I mean, we need more product for sure, and that comes from investors, which it's hard for investors to buy right now with interest rates unless they're doing cash only, which those are out there.
And I mean, what about the land prices for the development, anywhere inside the city limits? I mean,
expensive. Yeah. I mean, like you said, COVID, everything, that's definitely the biggest boom I've seen during my career is 2020 to 2022, 2023. That was just
houses went from, they almost doubled in value.
It was crazy. And interest rates were so low, it didn't matter. People kept buying them,
because they could find themselves into a payment that was affordable in their budget.
Yeah. I mean, somebody who could only afford $200, $300, $400 might be able to afford $500, $600, $700 all of a sudden.
And if they sold their house and cashed out in another state, like a lot did.
A lot of them did that.
And came here, they could pay cash or pay most of it and really upgrade the size of the house from maybe where they left.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, really, it's kind of bittersweet for me because it's good for my business when people move here, obviously. But, I also like our small town and, I don't want to look up and be a town of 500,000 one day. But obviously we will be eventually, be a big old town. But,
I mean,
that USA Today put that deal out a year ago, maybe number one town to live or move to in the country. And it's like, oh no.
I'm sure that had an effect.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, in my lifetime, I can remember as a kid, Tyler had 60 something thousand people, almost 70 or something. And then now I think Tyler's listed as 112, 113,000 with 250,000 in the county.
Well, and that's what, is so unique about Tyler. So yeah, 120,000 people, but daytime population
much larger,
300, 350, maybe even more than that, maybe 500, 600.
Because of, like you say, White House, Lindale,
all the bedroom communities. That's
all
part of it.
All the outer communities in the county, and some people commute in from outside Smith.
Yeah, so I've heard for years that over 50% of the receipts from the mall are from outside of Smith County. So we're a mini regional hub. People come here for doctors, dentists, retail, eating,
lakes.
I mean, everything. They come here just to go eat at Chili's sometimes. I mean,
golf, right.
Yeah.
I mean, people do come in here to eat a lot.
Yeah, and then go shopping or whatever. But I mean, yeah, we play a lot bigger than our population. That's what I've battled forever talking to big time retailers or different national brands trying to get them to come to Tyler. They don't think we can support it.
They don't realize during the daylight hours we're a lot bigger than we seem.
Right. Bass Pro obviously just figured it out. I'd call them several times and never got anybody
to do it.
But I probably wasn't a big enough player to get them here at the time. But now they're here because they see it, they know.
But I mean, did not the city incentivize them to some extent?
I think so. I don't know the details on it, but I'm sure there was some.
I think there is something there where maybe,
and a lot of them asked for that. That's
right. I mean, obviously they know cities are looking for jobs. They're looking for sales tax receipts, and so I'm sure a lot of them ask, "Hey, we'll come in, but would you, basically?"
Well, it's like the hotel deal downtown. That there were some tax incentives for that, which is good. I mean, we as a city, I think we need to be competitive in that to bring people in.
That's the Valencia group, and that's what's going to be the Blackstone Hotel. Kind of a tip of the hat to old Tyler, the old Blackstone, right?
Yeah.
Probably would have been started. It kind of got started when they demolished the lobby of the Regions Bank.
Right.
And then it seemed to stop.
Right.
I mean, rumor has it it's still on. I just, I don't know if you know any more than I do.
Last I heard, it's on.
It's on.
They finalized their financing and their, the city incentives, and that's last I've heard. But
well, the other one is the Carlton Hotel. I mean, what's the status of that?
I mean, I don't know. That group who bought them, they know what they're doing. They're really good at it, but that's a big project, obviously. I mean,
Right,
I was down there
and that's
a
a
month
huge
ago. And there was
building.
bricks falling off on the street.
I thought there was some order for them to demolish some part of it because of that.
They might have to. I mean, that's an old building, and that's just a massive project to take on. And if anybody can do it, they can.
Well, I had the mayor, Don Warren, on the podcast, and we talked about that project. And he said one of the sticking points was that they wanted either low-income housing, that is the group itself, or above 55. And the city was saying, no, we want people in the middle demographic that have money to spend to help support the businesses downtown.
Which makes sense to me.
So that I don't know, eventually that may be what we get. But the people who are working downtown, hopefully they're still alive by the time they finish the project.
Right. It's been a while already.
I mean, I don't know. Is there much of a commercial market downtown, really, or is it just?
Well, downtown's been revitalized a lot. I mean, with I know you had Steve on not long ago. I mean, the Prime 102. I mean, Andy Bergfeld and Garnet Brookshire did a great job, revitalizing that.
I mean, they
that building.
supported that project though. Without Bergfeld and Brookshire,
for sure,
Prime 102 would not be in that or existing today.
Right. But they revitalized that whole building.
Right.
It's pretty much leased up as far as I know.
Offices, yeah.
Right. And then, we're getting some more local restaurants downtown. And I mean, I think downtown's making a big comeback right now. Well, and obviously the construction might slow that down and hurt them some, but
it's going to be nice.
Big picture, it's going to be nice.
It's just, thankfully, I mean, for us or me or you, they have economic anxiety. That is the business owners downtown that we're not having to deal with. And they're dealing with it in the economic environment that we are in as well.
Right.
Right. I mean, it's not the greatest economy right now. And by the way, access to your business is impeded.
Yeah.
And so I feel for them there. And, I personally try to support them and did so last night. I went to Prime 102. I'm making a point to maybe go to more of those to try to help them hang on because.
Yeah, and in reality, it's not that hard. Go park in that parking garage and walk up there or get an Uber. I mean, it's not that hard to get
behind Prime and you can walk right through the lobby.
Yeah.
But, it's sometimes you don't think about it and sometimes you don't want to do it. And, but it'd be terrible. If we ended up with a nice courthouse
and no restaurant
and nobody around the square except for my buddies Martin Walker over there, the lawyers, or the I don't know if there's a hair salon or something over there, but I mean it's. But I know you've been a part of some developments, and I want to ask you about, the West Loop seems like it was the last thing in Tyler on the loop to ever really get going. Did it seem that way, or was it that way?
No, it was interesting. I mean, basically, there was a 500-acre hole, not an actual hole, but just nothing developed, undeveloped piece of land over there for forever.
Next to Sam's.
Right.
In front of essentially All Saints, Cascades, and
yeah, I mean, high traffic counts. I mean, but for whatever reason, Tyler always developed south until they couldn't. Obviously things in the south are still going great, but, now we're starting to move to the west, which is part of the reason Chandler started to grow as well. But no, that's a great development over there.
What were you a part of as far as that development? Was it the sale of the land itself? Is it something afterwards? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so a little bit of both. We represented the buyer, guy out of Dallas, Provident Realty Advisors.
Who bought how many acres?
They bought all 543 acres.
That's a big project.
Big project, and it's not in their backyard too. They realized it was a pretty good opportunity, a good deal. They saw what was happening in Tyler. He had previously done a couple deals here. He was involved with the Carrier building. He was the money behind it, bought and sold it, and then I think he was also involved in the South Tyler Mall. Somewhere.
The one out there at Cumberland?
The one at Cumberland.
Okay. All right. So I'm kind of wanting to know what you know about the development there in that 500 acres. What's happening on that acreage right now?
So it took a while for it to get going, but now there's a lot of traction. You've got Brookshire's going over there, which is a great anchor tenant.
And I saw Chick-fil-A, which I mean,
they got that thing up fast.
I drove by and I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was double lane, nice as it could be.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's unbelievable. Yeah, but Chick-fil-A, Brookshire's, Freddy's, a couple other quick serve restaurants.
Freddy's Steak Burgers.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, because people that lived over in that area, I mean, You could go to Walmart down the street,
Well, think about the people in the Cascades. They've got money to spend. I mean, so like, why not have stuff there for them instead of having to drive all the way over to Broadway? So
right. That's just
and it also helps traffic if everybody's not going down South Broadway.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, Broadway's Christmas time.
Ooh, try not to get anywhere
Christmas time
near there.
All right. So, is there any planned housing development of any kind that's proposed or planned for the West Loop project?
Yeah, so that'll be phase 2 or 3. They're filling out the frontage right now. There might be some apartments on the frontage, and then obviously everybody would love to have some type of entertainment over there, whether it's a Top Golf type deal or. I mean, heck, even a putt-putt. We don't have a putt-putt, anymore.
Did I see somebody was either contemplating or planning to build some type of miniature golf course somewhere? Is that?
Oh, that's
behind Wood Creek.
The Wood Creek. So somebody bought the old Wood Creek building, and I'm assuming they're just going to tear it down. I mean, I think that's an old building. Yeah,
I mean that's a lot of square footage to tear down, but it is kind of a metal building,
right?
2-story.
Yeah. But a great location for putt-putting.
Yeah, I mean, because
I got 4 kids. I'd love to have a putt-putt here,
And, and it fits with, kids and entertainment because that Andy's Custard would be right in front of it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, you could take your family over there, do both those things, as long as you didn't do it during the Christmas holidays, the traffic. But, yeah, you can't build, like you say, housing on frontage. It's too expensive. That's why the businesses fill it out, right?
Well, yeah, and zoning. I mean, depending on what the zoning is.
Because you got Earl Campbell Parkway, property right across the street from that's, also they're kind of sitting. I don't know if there's anything started up in there right now.
Yeah, so the TDC owns all that property, and they, I've personally had some clients look at it to do something that just hadn't happened yet, but the TDC has done an amazing job. Scott Martinez would be a good one to have on the show.
Well, probably. It's funny you say that. We were talking about that, Chris and I, my producer, audio, video man. We were talking about Tyler Economic Development Council, and someone else made mention of the job that Scott Martinez has done for Tyler in a short period of time.
Well, and he had big shoes to fill, too, with Tom Mullins. Tom Mullins did a great job before him. I mean, as you know, this was an oil and gas community way back when.
And hospitals.
Well, and Tom kind of was the one behind it, as far as I know, getting this to be more of a medical, not just relying on oil and gas, but, being more diversified and having us be a medical hub, which is basically what we are now.
Yeah, we are. And, I think on the show with Don Warren, we talked about a couple of projects that Scott Martinez was instrumental in.
And he came in,
And one of them was out there where Amazon, there's an Amazon facility that we got in here that nobody thinks about because it's out there a little further.
Yeah.
You know where that is?
Yeah. So it's just really off of I-20 and 155 kind of. But yes, Scott and the TDC bought some acreage out there. And then, he's got so many great relationships from past jobs, and he's lived a bunch of different places. But one of the big ones he was able to do is get Yellowwood, which that they're putting a wood treatment facility. It's already there. Mm-hmm. I mean, we went and drove and looked at it, and it's the largest wood treatment facility in North America, maybe the world. It's a huge deal. Lots of employees. So it was good, and then plus the Amazon on top of that. We're kind of on the map now. But Scott, he headed all that up, and we're lucky to have him for sure.
Well, okay, so you say that Tyler Economic Development Council, TEDC, right? Mm-hmm. You said they own land as well, like they own the land at Earl Campbell Parkway and the Loop.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if it doesn't go all the way to the Loop. They own,
I think
all around that.
Genicove has the corner,
right? You're right.
But behind them is that land that's we've looked at before.
That's right. We did.
The big drop off.
Uh-huh.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
I guess, what do they own other land or
Well, that's, they bought that land out by the interstate, and then they basically sold all of it, made some money, went and bought some more land. I mean, they're moving and shaking for sure.
Just as a non, government employee or really, I've never been in government. The Tyler Economic Development Council, is it a private organization? Is it a public?
Well, so that's what's interesting, and Scott or somebody else could talk a lot more to it, but most cities will fund some something for the TDC, give them some money. And that I've seen graphs before where, how much Longview EDC gets compared to ours. So that's why Scott is doing what he's doing, is to self-fund stuff to bring in, more employers.
Yeah, I mean, it would seem to be a good idea to sometimes spend money as a city that would be a good return on your investment.
Right.
I mean,
right.
It's kind of like the water line that Don Warren talked about that Tyler paid for to run to John Soul's Food, but then we would have that and make money off that from people in between in the future.
Right. Yeah.
Now, one of the other big things that really it was exciting for Tyler was the medical school, wasn't it?
Huge deal.
I mean, have you been by there lately? It looks like it's almost finished.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that we haven't even begun to see the benefits of that. I mean, slowly, but I mean that might be the biggest deal that's ever happened to Tyler when it's all said and done.
I mean, I don't know how many employees, doctors, nurses, associated trades.
There'll be so many things just associated with it,
and then businesses that they need things from, maybe.
Right.
That should benefit Tyler.
100%.
And I guess it's kind of good that they built it where they did on Beckham.
Right.
And it could it develop backwards to a lot of the old doctors' offices where doctors no longer are employed in solo practices.
Right.
Remember all those places and those houses?
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, a lot of them are rented or empty, I guess, back there.
Yeah.
But traffic, when you think about medical school, do we think traffic?
Yeah.
Are we thinking increase in traffic?
Yeah. I'm always thinking about traffic.
Yes.
But we're still pretty darn lucky. We've gotten spoiled. If we have to drive down to the Cumberland Mall, it's like, man, that's going to take 15 or 20 minutes.
We have gotten spoiled.
That's only 15 or 20 minutes.
But, the areas in which you look for residential housing, might depend on what your preferences are about traffic, about where you live, where you go, things of that nature. Right?
I get clients coming in from out of town that know nothing about Tyler, and we'll look at some different stuff. So there's some areas they like, and I'll kind of say, well, this is a great area, but here's, what this means if your kids go to school here or if you work here. This pocket might be better or that pocket might be better. That's a huge deal. People from coming out of town, if they've lived in a big city, they'll think, oh, that's only 20 minutes from my work, And I'm like, that's a long way in Tyler.
Yeah.
When you can be 5 or 10 minutes.
That's right. And, I think this gets down to maybe some of the benefits that you provide that maybe some might not be as helpful. And that is just having a pretty deep local feel for the market and how the city works and it runs. Would you say that
Sure.
That's the kind of advice that you give a lot of your clients?
Yeah, I think it makes a huge difference to have obviously local knowledge, but local knowledge of the market, local reputation, relationships.
Right.
All that goes a long way. And there's, Tyler's got a lot of good realtors here, so we're lucky. Most people are, represented well, but having local knowledge and somebody will answer the phone, that goes a long way. Everybody I work with has my cell phone number. They call me, text me.
Well, I know you, and I know the approach that you've put into place, and to me, it just kind of rings of accessibility. Is that the reason, why you've come up with this thing that we're about to explain that you've started to do?
Yeah. So, realtors' numbers are published all over the internet, so we get inundated with spam calls.
Right. You never know who's calling.
Yeah. And sometimes it'll say spam and I'll answer it and it'll be, a potential client, so it gets, you basically have to answer everything. But so, yeah,
answer nothing.
And a lot of them answer nothing.
Which is what some people do. And it's impossible to actually get in touch with a realtor and just ask a simple question about, is this house still on the market or something like that?
Right. Or I'd like you to know, how much my house is worth.
Can you show me something, right? And do you also provide that service? Like if people say, hey, would you come out, look at our house
100%.
And tell us what you think, we should list it for, could list it for?
Yep, 100%. Yeah, it's not an official appraisal, but it's what, I in my professional opinion, what we could sell it for, and I usually say, here's kind of your low end, here's your high end, usually falls in between somewhere.
And, in real estate language, they call that comps or comparables.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You I'm assuming you help people with everything from, rental. If somebody called about a rental question or text you, I mean, would you,
For
do you
sure.
deal in rental and, leases and,
Yeah.
6 months, years, things like that?
Yeah, so we do property management ourselves. I personally own a couple rentals, and I'll help people, including you all the time, get their house rented, or I'll help somebody find a rental if they need to.
If somebody, has bought a house or two and they don't want to fool with it, they need to hire a property manager. Is that how it gets dealt with if they don't want to?
100%. Yeah.
And then generally, what's the financial arrangement between, say, the owner of the properties and, you guys?
It varies from brokerage to brokerage or property manager to property manager, but typically I think we charge 10% of the rent.
Yeah.
And that we handle everything at that point.
And any of the complaints and people calling and the AC doesn't work, the commode stopped up, all of that stuff.
The owner doesn't have to deal with it at all, except
to you.
That's right. I mean, and then we'll reach out to the owner if there's a big, like the HVAC's out. We got to, we don't just go fix it and throw a bill at the owner. We discuss it with them first. But
all right. Well, a lot of realtors are in residential, right? I mean, not everybody that sells residential housing is also in commercial. Is that right?
Right.
Or is it just automatically that all realtors are everything?
No, generally somebody selects one. I mean, there's most of the ones you see. I mean, that they're either residential or commercial. There's a few like me that do some of both. And fortunately with our company, I've been able to do that. And as long as you're not getting bogged down where you can't give a full service to somebody. But, again, this size market, I feel like I can 100% do both. And I have a good amount of knowledge on both too. So,
well, and that's what I was going to get at. The same knowledge that you may have acquired in the residential market, selling houses, the inspection process, disclosure, that's not identical in the commercial market, is it?
There's definitely some similarities. The main difference is obviously pricing. How do you, because it's a lot harder to find comps on commercial stuff than it is on residential stuff.
For sure, because there's just not that many sales.
Well, and a lot of them don't go through the MLS. A lot of them are advertised on LoopNet or CorrectC, and they're not put into our comp system that is the MLS.
A lot of things I see for sale commercially say no price. Like they don't, I guess
undisclosed.
They want you to call.
Right.
Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah.
And then, I guess environmental contamination or something like that might be an issue in commercial that you wouldn't necessarily have in residential.
Correct. Correct.
Well, I mean, do you enjoy one over the other? There's more volume in residential, I presume.
Definitely more volume. They're usually quicker deals. A typical residential deal is 30 to 45 days from contract, where a commercial deal could take 3 months, 6 months, a year or more, just depending on how much due diligence there is to do.
Well, I want to circle back now that we've kind of covered the ground of what you work with, but I want to go back to this concept and this avenue that you've come up with in order to make yourself accessible. You told me about everybody's cell phones out there, including yours, right? But you have proposed a way in which people can immediately have access to you. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. You just text my number, Real Estate Q, and you can put, dash commercial, dash residential, dash rental, whatever. And then I'll call you. If you prefer text, we can just keep texting, whatever it is. But that way I know it's not, spam. Because a lot of times, like I said, your number, when you're calling me, it'll say spam, even though it's not. So,
well, I think it's such a smart idea because, people just go along. Spam gets more and more. People assume that if they're trying to get me, they're eventually going to get me. And sometimes in reality, people give up and go to somebody who they can simply get to, right?
Yeah, sure. A lot of times when people move into Tyler or that already live here,
they don't know anybody.
Right. They'll call an agent. If they don't answer, they'll call another one. Yeah. Until somebody answers. So.
Well, and basically the Real Estate Q text to your phone allows people to ask about rentals if they're looking for a rental.
Yep.
Selling a house, a rental property, or even, a commercial listing, right? And that could include commercial rental, could it not?
Anything.
I mean, like, when you say commercial, a lot of times people just immediately go to, well, I'm going to buy or sell that property. But sometimes
Now, there's a lot of leasing.
leasing going on.
A lot of leasing in commercial.
And, I mean, as far as your day-to-day, do you kind of keep up with the properties that are available, both rental and for sale? I mean, is that kind of...
For sure. For sure. More so in commercial. I mean, in the residential, I'm not actively looking at rentals until I have a client who's either wanting to rent one or...
Because that's a lot easier just to go and...
Sure, yeah.
And people need to identify like where they want to live first for you to start looking.
Right, I mean, yeah. But resident, but as far as buying, buyers I have, I mean, I've constantly got buyers, so I'm constantly having to look, multiple times a day to see if anything's popped up. Of course, I get notifications, but also anything that might be off the market, just from having those relationships with people. I'll hear like, oh, this house might be for sale in a couple of weeks, and I can maybe tell my clients about it before the whole world sees it.
Well, that's the one thing that, no matter what business there is, there's always some inside ball, right? I mean, relationships allow some people to know things before others know them.
Right.
And those relationships, based on trust and things, allow people to get access to things before the general public does. And that's what you're saying about market listings.
Right. And we've got rules in place where, I'm not allowed to go look at a house before it's listed.
Right.
But if I know about it, we're a lot more likely to get in there first when everybody can do it and be ready to make a decision, because maybe we've driven by the property. Maybe we've, looked
or maybe
up on,
you just know it because you've lived here your whole life.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of houses that, you don't have to tell me about. I know exactly what it looks like on the inside, outside.
Right. I mean, I'm not a realtor, but if you told me there was a house for sale on Belmead, or, I'd say, which one?
Yeah,
exactly. And I'd say, okay, and it's about to be for sale. And I'm like, the one next to the McCain's, it'd be like something like that, right? I mean, in places that people want to live, because it seems to me more and more people are really wanting to live inside the loop, which, there's a certain group of people that like everything being close.
Right.
And not dealing with the South, right?
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
sure. I think everybody likes different things.
That's right. The city really does have places for everybody. I mean,
for sure.
Because you could think about even the Woods, even though it's in Chapel Hill School District, depending on, there's private schools, there's about 4 or 5 of them you can send your kids to.
Right.
Neighborhood's nice.
Yeah.
Cascades, golf community, real nice houses.
Yeah, beautiful neighborhood.
Holly Tree is kind of the old South Tyler mainstay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe the club's a little crowded. I don't know. With the members.
I don't know if it's as crowded as it was.
Well,
they might have lost a few.
Word on the street, when you try to make too much money with a person's country club, people end up, looking somewhere else.
That's right.
Service and amenities matter, don't they?
100%. Yeah.
But in the Azalea District, I mean, we do find people, don't we, that really just want to live in the Azalea District.
For sure. Yeah. It's, we're nowhere near the size of Dallas, Houston, but everybody always finds their little pockets, and Tyler's no different. You kind of you have your house and you have your little pockets and where you go, and that's kind of where I can help people once I meet them. I can know what fits them best, what neighborhood fits them best.
I mean, being as accessible as you are is such a good idea, because, I mean, you've always heard the phrase, 90% of everything is just showing up, right? And and just being there to talk to people.
Well, that's what I tell realtors all the time. Like, just answer your phone.
They don't care if you work for Remax or Caldwell Banker or whatever. They just want to talk to somebody who locally knows what's going on in the market and knows generally what's available and what it costs, right? I mean, that's pretty much what people want.
Yeah.
Now, from the highs of the COVID, we come to, January of 2026. I mean, what's the forecast this year for our market here in the Tyler, East Texas area?
It seems everybody is optimistic about 26. 2025 was a little weird. I mean, it had ups and downs. I mean, I've been fortunate, even in bad years, I can, survive and feed the 4 kids, but
cobble together
yeah,
different, things, right?
which also helps me, doing residential and commercial when, sometimes one is slow and the other one's not. So that, that helps for
and
sure.
leases and things of that nature.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. But no, I mean, I think 2026, everybody is optimistic. I don't know exactly why. I think we're hearing interest rates might come down.
Which would be helpful for
sure. It'd be very helpful. I mean, and they don't need to be 2 and 3 again. I mean, that, we're not talking about that low, but, I think if you could get somewhere in the 5s, high 4s, people would be happy with that, and start buying.
Tyler's a little bit different market, isn't it? With the fact that so many people retire and or move here, that it provides, buyers even in a somewhat down market.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler's always been a pretty steady market. I mean, outside of COVID, I think we've always been pretty, a good trajectory. We never have too much highs, too much lows. And, like we've talked about with this medical school and everything else,
I mean, more people.
It's just going to bring more people. And it's what my granddad always said, all growing up. He said, you can bet on Tyler. You can bet on Tyler. And he's been right. So,
yeah, I mean, because it constantly, even though, it took some hits and, when the oil and gas was down in the 80s, but.
Well, and we've had some great community leaders, like our mayors. Almost all of them have been businessmen or women, entrepreneurs. Right. So they're, that we're fortunate that we have business-minded leaders.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. I mean, everything from the initiation of the half-cent sales tax to help pay for things, that you didn't have to otherwise borrow for, and promoting the city's businesses and entrepreneurs, like you say, has been evident the last 25 years. I mean, in ways that when you look around at other cities, I'm not sure that those politicians are operating the same way.
No, 100%. We're very fortunate with that.
The housing market, I can't think that prices aren't going to go up or remain level if you have all these people that continue to come in here, right? Even if we're in a down market where prices would traditionally fall. I mean, there's just...
Well, I mean, I was looking this morning, even in 2025, even though it was a slower year, I mean, November year to year, the median price was up a little bit. I mean, it was only like 0.5, but still it didn't drop,
Right. And I think in other places in the country, I'm sure that 0.5 would be maybe a much larger number.
Right.
And that,
or it'd be down. We were up 0.5. So.
Yeah. I mean, down. Yeah. But I just think that for people who want to sell their house, I think that should be some confidence for them that they're going to sell that house because, at the right price, right?
Well, that's the key. I mean, you've got to price it right. And especially in a slower market, during COVID, it didn't matter what you priced it for almost, but in a normal stabilized market, you've got to price them right.
I mean, I've heard somebody say that before, like, look, there's nothing wrong with this other than the price. Right. All houses will sell.
That's right. There's a house for everybody. Yeah.
At a certain price, people say, I'll pay for that. Right.
Right.
The future of Tyler. I mean, what do you think, Ben Fitzgerald, your granddad, said, always bet on Tyler.
Yeah.
And so, you're approaching 40, you've got your family, your 4 kids. I mean, you're kind of in the prime of the child rearing, and the future is out there for you and them, hopefully me for a little while longer. But, I mean, what do you think Tyler looks like, 10 years from now?
I mean, it's hard to imagine, but just based on the last 10 years and 20 years, I mean, I remember in high school, you get to Cumberland Mall, and that's where the country started. I had a friend that lived out there, and we were going to the country. So just what we've seen then, plus with
Reek Road.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, okay, it was woods, out from there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's wild. It's wild. But I mean, even if we didn't have the medical school, I think we're still growing. But with that, plus with what TDC is doing, bringing in these big employers, I mean, I think the growth is going to be exponential. I think we were really going to. I mean, I remember Ben, my granddad, he was getting some award or something, when he was in his 80s, and he just gave a real small talk, but he said, you wouldn't believe what I've seen the last 50 years in Tyler, how much the growth has happened. He said, but y'all are going to be stunned what the next 50 are like. Yeah. And I think about that all the time because I'm witnessing it,
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's tough. Like I said, as a realtor in your market, there's ups and downs as far as you getting paid and selling things, right? I mean,
Sure.
I mean, you got to have the right mindset and personality. And I guess that's why some people, as you said earlier, come in and go out of the market.
That's right. Yeah, it's not for the weak. That's for sure.
Right. I mean, for a guy like me, who always like, I'm not sure I like the highs and the lows. I mean, I like to have something consistent. And so,
but the longer you do it, the more consistent it gets. The referrals start really building up. So it's if you can get through those first few years, and be committed to it. I mean, you can certainly, be a little more stable.
Well, what about every real estate agent has to work for a broker. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't just go out there and sell real estate.
Yeah, you got to have a sponsored broker.
And I guess that is for quality control, management.
That's right.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, ethics. Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do you see as far as yourself, Taylor Fitzgerald? Do you see yourself manning the brokerage, Ben Fitzgerald? Do you see yourself just staying with them, or do you see yourself doing something in that regard on your own at some point in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've always seen myself kind of taking over the company. I'm one of 4 kids, and I'm the only one dumb enough to still be doing real estate. So I
mean, it seems to be there for you with no competition from any other brothers and sisters.
Right. Yeah. So, and I enjoy doing it. And, I like the history of it. We've been around since 1958. Yeah. I mean, we might make some tweaks here and there, but that's the plan, is for me to carry on the.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing tradition. Like an updated logo to start you off. I mean, I looked at your website and thought, is this 1958? Was Ben a pioneer?
We're
the first website.
We're old school. No, there's some things that need to be updated. We still have a copy machine in there that weighs about 4,000 pounds.
Well, everybody knows that realtors get paid a percentage, right? I mean,
yeah.
Remember in the old days, it was generally 3% for the buyer and 3% for the seller. Right.
I mean, it's always been negotiable, but a lot of people would do a total of 6%. Now, some people would do 8-10%. Some people do 4%. I mean, it's always been negotiable, which is kind of what that lawsuit was about.
Yeah, and in the past, I guess you mentioned variations. 8-10%. People would offer those commissions, as I would understand it, to try and motivate the other realtor to find a buyer. Is that kind of how it works? I mean, like if you're offering more in the past that you mentioned, 8-10%, I mean, what's the point of that?
Well, I mean, it's really whatever.
It's a contract.
Each agent can work at and negotiate with the seller.
Right.
If he tells them the seller, like, hey, if we pay more commission, we're more likely to get a buyer. maybe not.
But the reason I mention that is because that's relevant to the new law, right? I mean, the new law passed and said 3 and 3 is not in stone.
Nothing's in stone. No,
right.
and it never was in stone. It was just some people were portraying it like that.
I mean, it seems like a totally unnecessary lawsuit, a totally unnecessary discussion about real estate, and I don't even know how it really came about.
Yeah, I can't remember where it started, Missouri or somewhere, and all it takes is one person to say the wrong thing and one seller to get mad about it
and say, look, I was forced into paying 3%,
right,
and I didn't have an opportunity to negotiate,
right.
But that's become the standard practice that people. They understand and expect that to be, I think, now.
Yeah, I mean, anytime I go on a listing appointment, that's, we talk about price and what commission they're willing to pay to me and a buyer's agent.
How are you seeing that working out nowadays?
I haven't seen any change in Tyler, Texas yet. I mean, most sellers understand that they're paying for a service. And, the thought has always been, okay, the seller's getting money, the buyer's giving money. So, it makes sense the seller has that cash influx that they can afford to pay a little commission.
Because they can build that into the sales price.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
I mean,
yeah. And obviously, if the sales price changes, the commission amount might change too.
Right.
That happens all the time.
And so, but it really hasn't had the negative effect.
It really had.
In the market that people thought initially when they heard the change was coming.
Right.
The other issue that's relevant today, and a good one for us to end on, is artificial intelligence. Have you seen AI, ChatGPT, in any way, in the real estate market thus far?
For sure, and I fought it. I fought it so hard. I didn't want to get in with AI, but
I mean, how is it used, and how is it relevant to your day-to-day practice, if it is?
And I could get a lot better with it, but
you better.
Yeah, I mean, and there's more and more products coming out. I mean, golly, all I know is ChatGPT and Grok. But my brother-in-law, who's
Perplexity.
I mean, there's all kinds now, and he was showing me one that.
How do they help a realtor? How does that?
Well, there's a lot of ways. I think there's a lot of ways we could integrate it with our MLS. I think there's a lot of ways. Like in the past, I'd send a contract for X amount. They'd counter. So I have to go get my computer, totally redo the contract. Now I can just upload the thing to ChatGPT and say, "Hey, change the sales price to X."
Well, you better read it over to make sure it didn't make a mistake.
Of course, you got to do that too. You still got to look through them. But
you mentioned MLS, and I think people that are listening to this generally know what it is, but probably don't have a good understanding of how it's compiled, who runs it, and what are the rules, right? Can you give us some indication about what is MLS?
So it's a multiple listing service. I mean, that's one of the benefits you get from joining the association, the Greater Tyler Association.
You have access to it?
You have access to our local MLS.
I don't, as a non-realtor, do
Right, you do not.
But I mean,
you can get on Realtor.com and see everything that's put into it.
That's what I was about to say.
But you can't see the back end. You can't see what stuff actually sold for.
Right. I mean, I can go to Realtor.com and I can see everything that's for sale, what realtor has got it listed, and all price, reduced price, right?
And so, Texas is a non-disclosure state.
Means you don't have to report the sale price.
Right. But our MLS rule, you do have to report it. So that's kind of a perk for joining our MLS.
And our comps are better because of it.
Yeah, like, you say Zillow, Zestimates.
Right.
They're guessing.
Right, because
they're going off a SCAD, maybe.
That's some kind of computer line. When you look at it.
Yeah, but they do not have sold data at all, so.
Well, I'm sure it'll be more involved, but I don't think you should have any worry. I mean, until the robots start showing the houses, right. I mean, you're going to have a job, right? I mean, that's.
I was just, I was fighting it. I thought one person could make a difference. I'm looking at the future of my kids.
I'm sorry. That's a tsunami that you're standing out there with a bucket and a rain jacket. It's over, man.
I'm stubborn like that sometimes, but no, I'm falling full into the AI now. It's here to stay, and really. It's a great tool. I mean, just from sending emails, I mean,
it's an upgrade from Google. Really,
can you make this email sound nicer?
But I mean, when you look at Google versus AI, ChatGPT, it's really just a more sophisticated Google in a way.
Yeah, but it's a thinking partner. Right? You can really be a partner with it and collaborate, and I mean, it's really
just like other humans, you don't have to do or think what it says.
Yeah.
Right? It just provides a perspective. But anyway, man, it's been good to hear more about what you do and more about the city. And I just want to thank you for being on the show.
It's been fun. I'm glad you had me. I mean, I'm your least interesting guest, but maybe this is my debut.
We'll take anybody we can get.